Mayor and members of the council, the meeting is now being live streamed.
Thank you, City Clerk. The meeting will now reconvene at 6:16 p.m. City Attorney, please provide the closed session report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The City Council is back now in open session, having met in closed session to discuss the item listed on the agenda. Staff provided a report, but no reportable action was taken. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. If there's no objection by the City Council, I will now adjourn closed session of the City Council meeting at 6:16 p.m. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 10th, 2026, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Garden City Council and successor agency to the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order at 6:16 p.m. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. If there's any conflict of interest, if any members of the City Council should have a conflict of interest, please announce any item you're recusing yourself from due to a conflict of interest prior to the item being heard. Tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Leal, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Chief Paul Camacho.
Good evening, Mayor, and all the councilmen and councilwomen. It's always such a blessing to be here among our finest leaders, civil leaders, and greet our chief and the rest of the staff. I feel honored to be here, and I greet you. And I just want to remind you that as a church, we're praying for each one of you. May God continue to bless you and keep you as we go through the year. And as I was thinking about tonight, a verse came into my spirit, and this is the way that the Gospel of Matthew ends, and it ends with the commandment and with the promise. And let me read it to you as we pray. And it says, Matthew 28:20, teaching them to serve all things that I have commanded, and I am with you always to the end of the ages. Two commandments. First of all, the importance of being open to the teaching of the Word of God. It makes us wise, gives us wisdom. And second, there's a beautiful promise, and I am with you. I am with you always. When we think about God, sometimes we think, that we deserve somehow, or we have to make something special in order for Him to be with us. But this is a promise from God that He's with us to the end of the ages. So it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what's your need. God is always with us. So let us pray, and remember, as we pray, we come into the presence of God, and let us bow our heads. Father, we want to thank you for tonight. We want to thank you for each one of our leaders, starting with our mayor, each one of the council men and women, each one of our leaders, Father. Thank you for our chief. Thank you for our city manager. And thank you for each one of the employees. Thank you for our community that is here too. Father, may this meeting be led by you. May you give them the grace, Father, the wisdom that they need to lead us, Father, in a ways that it can honor you. Father, we put this meeting in your hands. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus. And can we please say amen? Thank you.
Please stand. Face the flag. Place your right hand over your heart and join me. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may sit.
City Clerk, please conduct a roll call of the members of the City Council successor agency.
Yes, thank you. Members of the council and successor agency, Barcena.
Present.
Councilmember Chavez. Present. Councilwoman Sanchez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Guillen.
Present.
Mayor de la Rosa.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move to presentations. If there's no objection from the City Council, we will hear from item 5.4 first. City Manager, please introduce the presentations.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of City Council. Item 5.4, National Golf Month Proclamation, and our Community Service Director, Elizabeth Nava, will give you a quick presentation of today's Golf Month.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. We just have a very brief video. You might recognize it about National Golf Month that Steve is going to help me show here in just a second. But August is National Golf Month, and we have a golf course here in Bell Gardens that we wanted to take the opportunity to highlight to the community.
Happy National Golf Month.
Here it goes. Yes.
Golf Month. Did you know Bell Gardens has its very own golf course? Whether you're new to the game or looking to improve your skills, our 9-hole par 3 course is the perfect place to play. Green fees range from $7 to $12, and the course is open every day starting at 7 a.m. Join us at the Bell Gardens Golf Course every Tuesday in August from 5 to 7:30 p.m. and enjoy our 2 rounds for the price of 1 special. We'll be celebrating National Golf Month with more fun activities all month long, so stay tuned and come experience the Bell Gardens Golf Course for yourself.
So for those who aren't aware, the golf course is located just behind the Ford Park Sports Center off of Park Lane, kind of tucked away behind the baseball field. And so you can see it here on the map. And we are taking advantage of National Golf Month and hosting various activities at the golf course, including a 2-for-1 on Tuesdays from 5 to 7:30 that you heard on the video. You get 2 tee times for the price of 1. So you can either bring a friend, or if you want to do 18 rounds of golf, you can do 2 rounds in a row. We are introducing some foot golf that has some of the golfers a little on edge because technically it's not traditional golf, but we want people to come out to our golf course. So we're offering some foot golf sessions, and then at the end of the month, we'll have a foot golf tournament. We host a number of tournaments at our golf course, and one that we're hosting in August on the 23rd is a junior SCPGA Tour tournament. So there's these young kids out there. There's about 70 golfers that will come out, and it's free for spectators. So we want to invite the community to come out and check out these young athletes and experience the game from a different level. And so we just wanted to highlight our golf course this month and let the community know that we're here and it's fun. And don't be afraid to come on out. Even if you're not familiar with the game, there's lots of opportunity to learn.
Thank you so much, Director Nava. And at this time, we'll go ahead and pass it on over to Councilwoman Dr. Frances de Leon Sanchez for the proclamation.
Thank you. A proclamation in honor of National Golf Month, whereas golf is a historic and universal celebrating sport that promotes physical, fitness, mental well-being, strategic thinking, and lifelong outdoor recreation for individuals of all ages and backgrounds. Whereas National Golf Month is celebrated across the United States every August to encourage new players to pick up a club, inspire seasoned golfers to share their passion, and highlight the accessibility of the sport. Whereas the City of Bell Gardens is home to the Bell Gardens Golf Course, an exceptional golfing facility that provides a beautiful green space, recreation opportunities, and a welcoming environment for our residents and visitors alike. And whereas Bell Gardens Golf Course is a par 3, 9-hole golf course that features a practicing putt green area, a bunker, as well as also serving an important environmental sanctuary for local wildlife. And whereas the Bell Gardens Golf Course will be hosting a variety of activities and programs in recognition of National Golf Month, including 2-for-1 promotions, foot golf games, and junior PGA tournament. And whereas these activities promote inclusivity, encourage participants amongst golfers of all ages, skill levels, to mentor youth, and teach the core values of sportsmanship, integrity, and respect throughout the game. Now, therefore, it be resolved that Miguel de la Rosa, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of August 2026 as National Golf Month in the City of Bell Gardens, and we encourage all residents to explore the sport of golf, and local municipal golf course, and recognize this dedication of teaching professionalism and staff who keep our community green and thriving. Proclaim this 10th day of August, signed by our mayor and the rest of the City Council. So here's a proclamation. And at this time, I'm going to ask Azucena from the Latina Golfers if she'll come up to the podium, please. So, Azucena from the Latina Golfers, thank you so much for being here today. We are going to not only recognize you for the Latina Golfers Association, but also give you this proclamation for all the wonderful things that you do. So, before I read this, do you want to tell us a little bit about Latina Golfers?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today along with some of our fellow golfers who I know you will recognize as well. You have a jewel in the city of Bell Gardens. It's so many cities would just, they envy you for having a golf course in your own backyard. How many of us would love to have a golf course within blocks of our home that we could recreate in, because golf courses are parks. They're public parks for our public to enjoy. So we're honored as the Latina Golfers Association because we come and we use your golf course. We are so proud to support the Bell Gardens Girls Golf Course, excuse me, which we have sponsored, and the Suva Intermediate Golf Club that we started here in Bell Gardens. We're so proud of these girls because they come and they use your facility. What we do is empower girls and women by teaching them how to leverage golf as a fair way to a higher education and to better careers. And we are leveling the playing field. We've been around for 18 years. We have over 3,000 members here in Los Angeles County, and we're proud to be a part of this community here in Bell Gardens because of what you do to support our community and our girls, to encourage them to keep playing golf. And for that, which we've done in the past years, we want to present the City of Bell Gardens with a check to help subsidize everything you do for our girls here in the City of Bell Gardens. So we would like for you to have this check. I'm not sure you can do.
So, in recognition of Latina Golfers Association, the Bell Gardens City Council proudly recognizes Latina Golfers Association for empowering women throughout the game of golf. With more than 5,000 members, LGA hosts golf clinics, provides lessons, offers etiquette workshops, and organizes golf outings, tournaments, and networking opportunities for women of all walks of life. Through golf, mentorship, and leadership development programs, LGA has enriched lives both professionally and personally by teaching women how to leverage the game of golf as a valuable business and networking tool. We thank the Latina Golfers Association for creating a welcoming and supporting space where women, especially Latinas, can connect, grow, and build lasting relationships through golf. So thank you so much, Azucena, signed by the mayor and the rest of the city council.
Thank you.
And
I'm
I'll-
honored to receive this.
And I'll open it up to my colleagues for comments.
Susana, it's remarkable all the great work that's been done to push this mission forward. I was looking at some statistics, and I saw that there was a 45% increase in participation since 2020, and that's remarkable. And now with our Latino population, it's the next step forward, and it's just amazing. And thank you so much for all the great work that's been done.
Thank you, Mayor. And to respond to you, yes, girls and women are the fastest growing community in the golf, and people of color are right behind. So we're there.
I just want to say thank you for creating these spaces for us women, Latinas. I know our colleague here, she takes pride in that. So thank you so very much, and always a pleasure to have you.
Council member.
On my comments, I just want to say thank you for your collaboration with the youth. I think it's really important to be engaged at a young age and be exposed to the different kind of sports that usually our communities aren't really present to participate, for obviously the lack of resources and amenities. But the fact that we have it here, that's obviously a great amenity. So really appreciate all your effort in working with our Suva Intermediate students. So really want to continue that moving forward. Thank you again for your work.
It's transformative in their lives.
Thank you so much. And at this time, we'll move forward and get a photo. Thank you so much. City Manager, will you please announce the next presentation item?
Thank you, Mayor De La Rosa. Next item, 5.2, certificate of recognition for Raza Golf. If you can please step up.
Señor Enrique, un momentito ahorita, sí, ahorita lo llamaremos.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about
Sure.
Raza
My
Golf.
name is Ruben Cardiel. We started Raza Golf about 5 years ago. We did it to try to create community access and also get more Latinos out on the golf course. Our call to action is more brown on the green, and that has really helped us just trying to get kids, adults, business, all those people to get out on the golf course. And just like Azucena said, I believe you guys have a gem here in Bell Gardens that, in my opinion, is underutilized. I think there's so much we can do with that, and I know there is a lot of things that have been reimagined with the space and that we're thinking of doing. But before we do all that, I would ask you guys to really explore all the different things would happen if we would invest on the golf course and what could happen if we really put some thought into it. Raza Golf is open to being part of that if you guys would have us. We think it's important. Golf is growing. Golf is getting younger. And we have a lot of Latino kids, a lot of kids in this community who would really benefit from that. And I would hope we would look at how we can really make that a big bang for all of us here.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate and support the mission, and we're here to support in any way we can to continue pushing the mission forward at a larger scale and continue growing and expanding it across the region. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just real quick, I didn't say this, and I want to say it because it's important. Although we do promote Latino representation, we do it without exclusion, which means we don't care who you are. You want to come out, you want to have fun, you want to learn the sport. We want to do it. Raza Golf is our for-profit business, but we also have a nonprofit that we do a lot of work with kids as well. We want to teach kids who are just getting into the sport, and the ones who are doing well, it gets expensive for the parents. So if we can help them along the way to pay for a tee time, to pay for a tournament, to pay for equipment, then we want to do that as well.
Thank you so much. And at this time, we'll read the certificate of recognition.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you for that introduction. Certificate reads, City of Bell Garden Certificate of Recognition honoring Raza Golf Company. The Bell Garden City Council is proud to recognize Raza Golf Company, founded in 2021. Raza Golf Company is more than a golf apparel brand. It is breaking barriers and building a strong sense of community through events, networking opportunities, and a shared passion for the game of golf. In 2023, the organization established the Raza Golf Foundation, which provides youth golf programs that promote skill development, building confidence, and help young people reaching their full potential. We thank Raza Golf Company for advancing Latino representation in golf and doing its part to end exclusion and build community. Signed, Miguel de la Rosa, Mayor of the Bell Garden City Council, this August 10th, 2026.
Thank you so much. And at this time, we'll go ahead and open up the floor for any comments from my fellow colleagues.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming out. I know that you've held several tournaments in our golf course, introducing people to the Bell Gardens Golf Course, and just continuing that great work. Thank you so much for being here.
I'll go ahead and add some comments. I just, first and foremost, I'm not a golfer, not yet at least, but I really appreciate your guys' motto, right? Put more brown on the green. I think I really value that, and I think it's important to be in these spaces. So I appreciate your guys' mission, and I like for what you guys stand for. So I think that that's something that we need to hear that more often. So again, congrats on this recognition, and thank you for all your guys' work.
Thank you.
Just to echo that, many of us are primarily exposed to soccer, right? And I myself, I was one of them, right? And I didn't discover golf until my second year of college through my fellow classmates. And the equipment is very expensive. I quickly realized, like, damn, this is ta carito, you know? And I got my first set of clubs through, I think it was era de segunda mano, right? They were all worn out and everything, pero hey, as long as I had the chance to go ahead and play with my friends, that was just that meant a lot more. And again, I appreciate the mission behind the organization to support the youth with tea times and equipment even, and that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I don't want to break any rules by going back and forth with you, but I do want to add, I think that's the reason why Bell Gardens Golf Course is so important. Because a lot of us who are playing golf now, we wish we would have been introduced at a younger age, right? It wasn't around for us. And a lot of older people that you talk to are like, I wish that was around. I wish I had access. I wish I had the ability. You guys have it. You guys have it. Not everybody has that ability. And I think it'll be something great that we can all together push to help our youth get into the sport. So thank you.
And at this time, yes.
And just echoing, thank you. Thank you for your passion, dedication, and discipline. I know you said you learned later in life, but your work shows for itself. So thank you.
Any more comments? And if not, we'll go ahead and move forward and take a photo. City Manager, will you please announce the next presentation item?
Thank you, Mayor. De La Rosa, last certificate of recognition is to Cops and Birdies. If you can please step up. Yes.
Cops and Birdies, I love the name. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about Cops and Birdies.
Well, the name Cops, I'm in law enforcement, and the reason behind Cops and Birdies is to have a relationship between the community and law enforcement. My name is Miguel Sanchez. I started my career in law enforcement in 2011. Before that, I was an explorer, neighboring city here. I'm very familiar with Southeast LA. I could tell you I had no idea Bell Gardens had a golf course until a few years ago. We actually have a Baker to Vegas team, and we started to do tournaments to raise funds for our team. And Chief Camacho is part of our Baker to Vegas team. It's a multi-agency team. And I asked him, can we use the city of Bell Gardens golf course? And he said, absolutely. Let me make some calls. And it's been a home to us, especially me, because I love coming out here. I live in a nearby city, so I use the greens there all the time. I bring my kids. They love it. I, too, wish that I would have took golf at an earlier age. I started golfing a few years ago, but I think I would have picked it up around 6, 7, like they say, I think I'd be a pretty good golfer. But no, it's very humbling to be here today in front of you guys and being recognized. Our foundation that we started, Cops and Birdies, is really behind helping law enforcement officers in case there's a tragedy, right? So we want to make sure that officers, if God forbid they pass away in the line of duty or they have some kind of tragedy where they need financial help, we can reach out to resources. We can do foundation fundraisers through the foundation and assist. At the same time, we want to assist other first responders, military veterans, and most importantly, connect the community with the golf game. Hopefully, we can get youth programs such as the Police Explorer programs, maybe Cub Scouts, or any other type of youth program that's out there to connect with the golf community, right, with law enforcement. Our goal is to partner up with people such as Latina golfers, Raza Golf, through their foundations, through their youth, set up tournaments for these kids. I know that it's very expensive to get kids clubs because it's a very pricey sport. However, we could get sponsors. We can go to Goodwill. We can pick up an old set of clubs so they can learn the game. And then hopefully as they get better, we know we have other people that can sponsor them and put them through a full course, And at that point, if hopefully these kids pick up the sport well enough, it'll be a college route for them. There's a lot of scholarships that are untouched, especially in the Latino community, in the sport of golf. So if we can guide kids, they're not 6 feet tall and are going to play in the NFL, why not pick up a couple golf clubs and have an opportunity at a scholarship? My goal, hopefully, with this golf course in the future, is to do more events and raise money so that we can put some kids through college. If we can give every kid a scholarship, $500, $1,000, for them to go to a school and have had some funds because, one, college is expensive and, they deserved it. They stayed disciplined. They took pride in their work. They were out of the streets and they put in the work. Then myself and my colleagues would be more than happy to get these kids on the right path. And I think the game of golf is the mission behind a lot of these youth programs. And I just want to thank you guys very much for giving the opportunity to be here today. We do have a golf tournament on August 27th. It's going to be cops versus firefighters. And that event, we're going to present it to all kinds of different law enforcement agencies, firefighters, military veterans, any first responder, friends and family. Our goal is to establish that relationship within our first responders and the community. And the community of Bell Gardens, to me, it's home. I grew up in this area, and I could tell you, bringing the city, the community members, business owners, golfers, it's an amazing thing to do. Thank you.
No, thank you. I think this is a phenomenal concept. I love it. You're combining, two independently unique concepts, and with sports such as golf, is so unique because you look at other sports, there's really no opportunity to bond, communicate, and golf does precisely that. You have the opportunity to connect with your fellow, party of four, or however big the party is. But I had the opportunity to bond with some of my fellow colleagues through golf a few times, and we were not necessarily the best, but we had a great time. And I really see how this could really bond, the community with our fellow, officers. And this is great. I love the mission. And I'm going to go ahead and read the certificate of recognition and then follow through with council member comments. It states here, certificate of recognition honoring cops and birdies. The Bell Garden City Council proudly recognizes cops and birdies for bringing together law enforcement, first responders, and community throughout the game of golf. Cops and Birdies creates meaningful opportunities for youth to discover the game while developing important life skills such as respect, patience, discipline, accountability, and confidence, qualities that extend beyond the golf course. We sincerely thank Cops and Birdies for providing a positive avenue to connect with our community through this outstanding sport. Thank you so much, Tocayo, Miguel. Appreciate all the efforts. And at this time, we'll open up the floor for some comments from my fellow colleagues.
Thank you, Miguel, for coming out and for calling Bell Gardens home. I know that you've partnered up a lot with our golf course to bring more people there, and you're going to have your golf tournament later on this month. So thank you so much again for, just showcasing the Bell Gardens golf course.
Sounds good. At this time, we'll move forward and get a photo taken. Thank you so much, Miguel. We will now move to public participation for items not listed on the agenda. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, will you please announce the instruction?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute period. Callers wishing to speak may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through Zoom may request to speak by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will first hear from speakers that are in person, and we did not receive any written communication on non-agenda items.
Thank you, City Clerk. First up, we have Enrique Hernandez. Please come up.
Bien, buenas tardes a todos los presentes. Me presento, soy Enrique Hernández Martín, oriundo de San Juan de los Lagos, México, Jalisco. ¿Qué es lo que me motiva a estar aquí? Bueno, ando de paseo. Mi hermano Sergio Hernández, que radica aquí en Bell Garden. Hace 2 años, con un compañero, ya habíamos tocado el tema con una propuesta de hermanar San Juan de los Lagos con Bell Garden. Por alguna razón se quedó en el tintero, pero sí se hizo una carta de intención donde el presidente de San Juan de los Lagos, el Cabildo, tomó la notificación. Hubo un receso, hoy nuevamente vengo aquí con ustedes y bueno, ya Miguel tuvo una comunicación con el presidente de San Juan de los Lagos, comentaron generalidades de la hermandad y bueno, hoy me presento aquí para comentarle a todos los concejales de la intención y decirles que San Juan de los Lagos tiene las puertas abiertas para Bell Garden con esta intención de la hermandad. Entonces lo dejo a consideración de ustedes. Yo me regreso el jueves, estoy en San Juan, pero ya hay una línea donde se le va a dar seguimiento desde hace 2 años con Jorgel, ahora con Miguel y a consideración de todos ustedes. Lo dejo en la mesa para su consideración. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Enrique. City Clerk, any other comments before we proceed?
Yes, I have one virtual participant. Zoom ID beginning with the name Mario. If you would please select the microphone icon, you may proceed with your comment.
Yeah, I got a question for the council members here. So when Ms. Nama was speaking about golf, she mentioned something I've never even heard of, foot golf. What on earth is foot golf, and how does that differ from regular golf? Can someone please enlighten me and explain what foot golf is? I don't even know how you play foot golf. Because here in Southgate, we have a 9-hole golf course. I don't know about pars. I don't know what a par is, the difference between a par 3, par 8. I don't know what the hell that is. But we do have a 9-hole golf course. And when I took a tour of it, the gentleman there explained to me that we have a frisbee golf. And you gotta call in that you want to have frisbee golf. And he said, give me like an hour to set it up because I gotta let the other players play and then finish up their game. And I'll set it up and just give me an hour to set up. So we have frisbee golf in our golf course. I don't know about anything about this foot golf. If somebody could explain it to me. And then the thing I want to ask the council members, what is Bell Garden's policy when it comes to activating cooling centers? You know, it's been brutal with this heat wave. And here in Shitgate, here's what the policy is. In order for a cooling station to be activated, it has to be predicted 3 consecutive days in a row of 95-degree temperatures. Imagine that. 3 days in a row, 95-degree temperatures before, in order for a cooling station to be activated. And to me, this is a ripoff right here. Does it have to be that extreme? It has to be past 90 degrees to activate a cooling station here in the city of Southgate. And meanwhile, our residents are dying in the heat. So I'm curious, what is the policy for Bell Gardens when it comes to cooling stations? How many do you have? And at what point does it have to be for you guys to open up a cooling station? There was one more thing I wanted to hit on. What was the thing? Oh man, I'm going blank here. Hang on a second. Cooling stations, the foot golf. I'm going to end with that. I can't recall what it was. I'll end with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Mayor and members of the council, that was the last public comment.
Thank you, City Clerk. If there's no objection by the members of the City Council, I will now close public participation. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation for items listed on the agenda.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to speak may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through Zoom may request to speak by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will begin to hear from members of the public that are physically present in the chamber. There were 2 written comments that have been distributed and posted on the city's website.
Thank you, City Clerk. We'll go ahead and proceed with Jesus Rojas for item 10.5.
Hi, Mayor, City Council, good evening. My name is Jesus Rojas. I'm from the Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles. AGLA opposes an eviction threshold as it will do harm to far more renters than good. It only encourages bad renters that purposefully fall behind in rent while pushing responsible renters by delaying needed repairs and maintenance. Bell Garden already has a rental assistance program for renters that fall behind in rent for legitimate reasons and keeps them current rather than creating debt that they will not be able to overcome. The City Council should better publicize the City Rental Assistance Program rather than creating an eviction threshold, which will drive more mom-and-pop owners out of business and their properties into the hands of developers. New properties will have far higher rents and will not need to comply with the city's rent stabilization ordinance. This ordinance is particularly harmful as it uses small area fair market rate instead of actual monthly rent. By doing so, few, if any, responsible renters will be able to use it. Also, it will make things far more complicated for mom-and-pop owners, further encouraging them to sell their properties to corporations. Bell Gardens should want to do better than its neighboring cities and provide more affordable housing, not less. Please take the time to rethink this very damaging policy before it is too late. Thank you.
Up next, we have Mateo Gil for item 10.5.
Hello, Bell Garden City Council. Good evening. My name is Mateo Gil. I'm a community organizer with East Yard Communities for Environmental Justice. First, I want to thank the council for bringing the ordinance forward for its second reading. Thank you for continuing to believe in housing stability and for listening to the diverse voices in our community tonight. We're not here asking for the abolishment of rent. We're just asking to give tenants more time. We're asking more time for our elders who are on the front lines being targeted by ICE. I want to address the concerns of the last meeting regarding the tenant protections. Tenant protections such as non-payment threshold disproportionately will help tenants and they will not harm small mom-and-pop landlords. While their anxiety is understandable, these policies actually protect small landlords from the volatility that threatens their livelihoods. Small landlords do not have corporate landlord funds. Evictions are costly, time-consuming, and destructive to cash flow. For a small owner, a tenant who stays 5 years is infinitely more valuable than one who leaves after 6 months due to an emergency. Furthermore, these regulations reduce hidden operational costs. Vacancies cost thousands in cleaning, repairs, and marketing. By fostering long-term tenancies, we lower the administrative burden on small landlords who lack large legal teams. We should not pit neighbors against each other. A healthy rental market requires both secure tenants and viable landlords. These protections offer sustainability over speculation. It's really important that we pass these protections considering the future. I know in the last meeting it was stated that ICE is not in our communities, and that's false. ice, there is still heavy ice presence in our communities. Just because it doesn't make the news doesn't mean that it's not going on. So we ask that we pass this non-payment threshold policy and keep moving for stronger tenant protections. This isn't where we stop. We're going to keep pushing for more and more in our community because our community deserves this, right? And we have to be proactive instead of reacting to the moment. Thank you all for your time.
Up next, we have Jasmine Gonzalez for item 10.5.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jasmine Gonzalez, and I am a community stability organizer with East Yard. And I do urge y'all to vote yes for a non-payment threshold of 1 month at fair market rent. A policy like this is basically a lifeline to tenants experiencing housing insecurities. Just today, I learned of a tenant impacted by the Lineage fire in unincorporated LA who is fortunately protected by a 2-month non-payment threshold that was recently passed by the County Board of Supervisors. And as city leaders, y'all have the opportunity to offer support through policy to marginalized community. And good policy like this prevents homelessness, needless homelessness. This would in no way negatively impact a small mom and pop landlord. And in fact, in situations like this, we often encourage folks to apply for the rental assistance that y'all offer in the city of Bell Gardens as well. And so I think this policy is really to create stability in the community. And I think it's really important, like my colleague was saying, for cities like y'all to be proactive in keeping people housed. So please vote yes for a non-payment threshold. Thank you.
Up next, we have Rayard Hernandez for item 10.5.
Hello, my name is, can I start speaking right now? Okay, hello. Good evening, my name is Ray Hernandez. I just thought I'd drop by, and I was gotta say I agree with the folks who were just saying that, what was it called? The tenant non-payment threshold. Like, everything's so expensive nowadays. Rent's going up. What else? Food, gas. Times are kind of tough. You don't want people to go homeless, do you? Like, I don't know. I thought you guys cared about people, about the citizens of this city. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Next, we have Cassandra for item 10.5.
Buenas tardes, miembros del concilio. Pues igual seguimos como la unión de vecinos que somos aquí en Bell Gardens, seguimos apoyando esto para que esto ya se acabe, ya digamos sí, ¿verdad? Porque es como lo hemos dicho, es un poquito de ayuda para mucha gente. Tal vez yo en un mes me voy a quedar desempleada y no voy a pagar y le voy a decir a mi rentero, ¿sabes qué? No puedo pagar, y por el simple hecho de no poder pagar un mes, inmediatamente nos llevan a corte. Entonces, si es un poquito de prevenir esto, pues ¿por qué no hacerlo? ¿Verdad? No, lo que no queremos es perjudicar también a los dueños, porque los entendemos. El costo de vida está carísimo, el que estén metiéndole a sus casas cuesta, yo sé que cuesta, pero también nosotros dejamos el dinero ahí en nuestros hogares. Y esto es un negocio. Si no hubiera tanta vivienda, o no estuvieran comprando tanta vivienda por donde quiera, porque este es un negocio redondo. La vivienda siempre va a dejar, al igual que la comida. Así que me encantaría que esto ya se acabara y que dijéramos, sí, está bien, una protección más, ¿por qué no hacerlo? y seguir ayudando a esta comunidad que de verdad estamos siendo azotados fuertemente por el impacto de la economía, el desempleo, los salarios tan injustos, el salario que no sube y que simplemente no suben la renta una y otra vez. Yo sé que esta ciudad tiene tantas protecciones, es una de las ciudades con más protecciones, más fuertes, pero necesitamos que sigan enforzando todos esos códigos, de verdad, porque es triste darme cuenta que varios de mis compañeras con las que anduve en campaña para hacer esto, darme cuenta que varias de ellas ya están en la calle, otras durmiendo aquí en un hotel, y otras más que estamos en espera de un desalojo. No, es horrible pasar por algo así, así que prevenirlo puede que sea bueno por un tiempo. Yo sé que no se va a poder siempre, pero ¿por qué no ayudarlos? ¿Por qué no decir sí y hacerlo? Y gracias por todo lo que están haciendo, los programas que están maravillosos que están haciendo en la ciudad, sus cambios. Es una ciudad que está progresando gracias a cada uno de ustedes. Mil gracias. Yo que soy residente aquí por más de 15 años, estoy tan orgullosa de estar aquí en esta ciudad tan maravillosa y no me gustaría irme a otro lado. Y la verdad, felicidades a cada uno de ustedes. Gracias.
Up next, we have Maribel for item 10.5. If not, we'll go ahead and proceed with Lilia Chavez for item 10.5.
Muy buenas tardes a todos. Ya todos, la mayoría me conocen, mi nombre es Lilia Chávez. Y como ya venimos la vez pasada, igual vengo a apoyar y a pedirles a ustedes que por favor apoyen el umbral que se está pidiendo, porque hay muchas familias quedando en la calle y una de esas familias soy yo. Desafortunadamente me he encontrado con la cosa de que cada que vas a buscar un apartamento no permiten menores. Yo lo que les he dicho, que traen con los menores, que no estamos en un país donde la protección es para los menores. Encontré una casa de 3 recámaras, no ocupan menores. ¿Dónde vamos a meter los menores? En sus manos está, de verdad. Yo me siento impotente en este momento por lo que están viviendo esos niños. No es por mí, es por los menores. Y desgraciadamente les está tocando vivir esto. ¿Por qué? Por un error. Por un error que el inspector iba y nunca dijo que eso era ilegal, que no podía estar habitado. Y están pagando los menores. Ahora la que traigo el peso encima soy yo, porque tengo desafortunadamente pasar por eso. Yo tengo que estar haciendo lo que me dice de la ciudad el inspector, porque me habló. ¿Ya tienes fecha para salirte? Sí, el día 1 de octubre. ¿Qué puedo hacer? No puedo tener el tiempo. Los niños están estresados. Cuando yo voy y encuentro, me dicen, ¿cuántos menores son? Pues tantos. Ok, pero las personas cuando te van a rentar se van a imaginarse que son niños vagos, vamos a ponerle así. Pero yo entiendo que no todos los padres educamos de la misma manera a los hijos. Y en mi hogar no es ese tipo de niños. Algunos de ustedes ya los conocen. Y están ellos bien estresados. Ayer se fueron a su deporte hasta San Diego. Ellos no iban bien. ¿Por qué? Por lo que están viviendo. Porque dicen ellos, ¿por qué si mi papá está haciendo todo bien? Tú estás haciendo todo bien. ¿Por qué a nosotros? ¿Qué les hicimos? Nada. Cumplir. Y otra de las cosas también, y que yo lo he notado, a veces es bueno conocer y a veces no es bueno conocer tanto de lo que hemos conocido con Lucy, con las compañeras, con todos ustedes, porque de ahí se agarraron conmigo. ¿Por qué? Porque yo conocía, me supe defender, le supe exigir mis derechos. Y esa es una de las razones de las cuales me están haciendo eso a mí. y ahora me toca pagar. Gracias.
Next, we have Meli Macedo for item 10.5.
Good evening, City Council. I am here in support of the non-payment threshold. I urge you to support the non-payment threshold to prevent displacement for families in Bell Gardens. I come as a member of Caracol and also a mental health provider serving this area and the surrounding communities. Evictions, displacement, eviction stress disrupts the family system. It disrupts the lives of grandparents, abuelitos, parents, babies, children, pets. It causes ongoing complex stress, has long-term mental health consequences. We're talking about recreation in the city of Bell Gardens. If people are going through an eviction, they're not going to be focused on taking advantage of the recreational activities here. They're going to be focused on trying to survive. So we have to keep that in mind too. If we're celebrating recreation in the city, that's great, but also who's going to benefit from it? The families that are here now or families that are higher income and will be able to pay for these rents? So parents cannot be present and attuned with their children if they're working 3 jobs to pay higher rent. I'm glad I'm going after this señora because that is a perfect example of how this develops, and that's one family. I work with families all over Sela. I hear this story all the time, and it's tiring. And that's just me as a mental health provider. Imagine for the people living through this. If we're talking about housing resources like rental assistance, I've also worked for ERAP when that was happening. There's limited housing resources, limited shelter beds, shelters far away from communities, which means that kids have to go to other schools, drive really far. That's gas, that's time, resources. So all of that comes into play. So that's really all I have to say. Just please vote and support. It's really the right thing to do. Make your community proud. They're here with you. You know, they're looking to you for support. And yeah, make everybody proud. Make yourself proud. Make your ancestors proud. That's it.
Up next, we have Irma Lopez, item 10.5.
Buenas tardes, miembros del concilio, un gusto saludarlos de nuevo. Soy Irma López y vengo representando a Caracol, soy voluntaria y soy miembro de la comunidad y vecinos de aquí. Yo vivo en la ciudad de Carajay y ustedes se preguntarán que por qué no hay muchos residentes de aquí de Bell Gardens. Pues porque tienen miedo a todo lo que está pasando, a las redadas de migración. Yo estoy en varios grupos de la comunidad en WhatsApp y ahí nos pasamos los mensajes, no se acerquen al Food for Less que está aquí en Bell Gardens, ahí está la migra, no se acerquen al súper que está aquí en Bell Gardens porque ahí está la migra. Entonces nos pasamos la voz, entonces existe un miedo real, no es ficticio, es real. Y yo les pido a ustedes, les insto que voten pues a favor de este impago de un mes de renta para beneficio y tranquilidad de sus residentes. Yo estoy aquí para apoyarlos, ya que ellos no pueden estar aquí, yo sí vengo a representarlos y a levantar la voz por ellos. Por favor, piensen en su comunidad y en todo lo que están sufriendo, batallando con sus familias. Ahora que van a entrar a la escuela, he escuchado muchas narrativas y básicamente de los estudiantes y me da mucha tristeza e impotencia por todo lo que está sucediendo. A ellos les da miedo regresar a la escuela porque no saben si al regresar a su casa ya no estén sus padres o viceversa. Entonces, al ir a la escuela no saben si va a pasar algo. Entonces, es un temor colectivo que estamos viviendo todos y yo les pido que piensen en su comunidad y que los apoyen. Ya en mi ciudad, gracias a Dios, se pasó. Entonces, ustedes también sean esa cadenita de ayuda a su comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Up next, we have Nathan Nunez, item 10.5.
Hello, good evening, members of the City Council. I am here today to speak on moving forward with the non-payment threshold of 1 month at fair market rate for the City of Bell Gardens. Accepting this non-payment threshold sets a precedent for further tenant protections at such a critical time for the City of Bell Gardens and the cities across Sela. As you know, there are many investments coming into the Sela region, not limited to the Sela Cultural Center opening up in Southgate, the Southeast Gateway line that will move from downtown all the way to Cerritos. These investments and investments that will come with them will have a major impact on the area and could possibly lead to effects like gentrification. By accepting items and tenant protections like non-payment threshold, it enables and facilitates the people that have grown up here, that have made their lives here, to stay here. So pushing for this protects the people that make up the City of Bell Gardens and really define what the city is and has been. I also want to speak on the fears of the pressures on mom and pop landlords that maybe some of the city council members have and that folks have talked about today. The fears that they have on the ability to, feeling the pressure from both the top and the bottom of like being able to shoulder the extra financial weight of a non-payment threshold of 1 extra month. I think it speaks to the amount and the difficulty to buy housing within the Southeast LA region and the City of Bell Gardens in particular. And I feel like a solution to that is not just, okay, let's put extra pressure on the people that are renting and our tenants, but how do we facilitate folks to be able to buy their homes, to be able to pay their mortgages? I think it's very easy to jump to an easy solution, a solution that is commonplace, that is the standard, which is to put more pressure on the people on the bottom, the people that are paying, that have only ever been tenants. How are we facilitating policies, ordinances, working with state assembly with different political policy factors to be able to facilitate the purchase and stable purchasing and stable payment of housing and enable these different forms of housing for people that live in the City of Bell Gardens. The fear that mom and pop landlords won't be able to own their second home should not be answered with, okay, let's remove tenant protections. It should be, okay, how do we also protect them? We can all win. We can all have housing and have stable housing within the City of Bell Gardens, and pushing for the non-payment threshold is one step in doing that. Thank you.
Up next, we have Gabriel Guerrero, item 10.5.
Muy buenas tardes, miembros del concilio de la ciudad de Bell Gardens. Mi nombre es Gabriel Guerrero y soy de la ciudad de Southgate, pero yo cubro todo Sela. Somos miembros de todo Sela. Todos me preocupa mucho lo que está pasando aquí en la ciudad de Bell Gardens. Solo les pido a ustedes que tomen en cuenta, que voten a favor de esta enmienda que estamos pidiendo nosotros aquí para proteger a nuestros inquilinos de aquí de la ciudad de Bell Gardens, de todo esto que está pasando ahorita. Toda la gente está atemorizada por lo que está pasando con ICE. Entonces, yo les pido a ustedes que nos apoyen y a todos estos para que nuestras comunidades estén más tranquilas. Acaba de hablar la señora Irma López también, no solo aquí, en todas las ciudades está pasando eso, pero toda la gente estamos asustados, estamos atemorizados. Lo que nosotros necesitamos es que tomen en cuenta de todos los papás y mamás que salen a trabajar todos los días, sin saber si van a poder regresar a sus casas. Los niños están bien asustados también por las mismas situaciones de que tal vez no vuelvan a regresar a sus casas. Entonces, yo les pido a ustedes que tomen en cuenta todo esto y que nos apoyen en este umbral que estamos pidiendo para que todas las comunidades aquí no estén en esta situación tan difícil. Ya ahorita muchísima gente está quedándose sin trabajo también. Muchísimas gracias por la oportunidad.
Okay, that concludes all the public comment cards. City Clerk, is there anyone else online wishing to speak?
Yes, we have virtual participants. Zoom ID beginning with the name Mario. If you would please select the microphone icon, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to hit on 11.1 local commission. So, council members, you can't have a bunch of chumps and dummies serving on your commissions. You need smart people, thinkers, critical thinkers that care about your city and want to move it in the right direction. So now I have a story that I want to share with you that's related to commissions. So we have a vice mayor. He's running for re-election here. He appointed 2 gentlemen to serve, one on the planning commission, another on the Parks and Recreation Commission. And these 2 gentlemen, they're running for city council. So tomorrow we're going to have our city council meeting. And what is on the agenda? For the removal of one of these gentlemen that's running for city council, who happens to be an appointee of our vice mayor, Al Rios, who's also running for re-election. And you're going to hear me lay into the council members and say, you guys are being punitive here. We have 2 commissioners that care about our city, that want to elevate and fix our city, and rather than support them, you want to cut them off at the knees and remove them from these 2 commissions, and you're going to diminish these 2 commissions by removing these 2 aces, and all because they care about our city and they want to run. So I don't like this, that now we're going to start removing commissioners because they want to run for city council, and one of them, they both happen to be running against the vice mayor who appointed them. But it sucks, it's a scumbag move by my council members. But that's what's happening here, and I just wanted to share that with you. And I'll end with that.
Thank you. Zoom ID beginning with the ID, Andrea, if you would please select the microphone icon and proceed with your comment.
Hello, my name is Andrea Zarzua, and I'm commenting on item 10.5. I was at the previous city council meeting in support of the non-payment threshold for 1 month's rent at fair market rate, and I'm a graduate student and a policy and advocacy intern with California Latinas for Reproductive Justice. I just wanted to thank you all for prioritizing the needs of your renters, especially in this moment where so many are experiencing housing insecurity. Many folks are in states of crisis because of so many factors like ICE raids, rising prices of everything from gas to groceries, and so much more have contributed to how difficult it can be for families to stay on top of rent. Housing is a human right and it should be treated as such. Policies like non-payment thresholds ensure that we are treating housing as human right and make sure that renters have the time they need to pay rent. I also wanted to say that the idea that quote unquote bad renters are the only ones who would benefit from this policy is really harmful. As we've seen today, those that have fallen behind on rent are not people who are purposefully not paying. They're real people who are trying their best to balance work, childcare, other kinds of caregiving, sometimes sickness or chronic diseases. And this policy is really for them. We never know how complex or what's going on in people's lives. And everybody deserves to have the time they need to pay rent. So that's who this policy is for. Thank you.
Thank you. Zoom ID beginning with the name Melody. If you would please select the microphone icon and proceed with your comment.
Hi, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Awesome, thank you. My name is Melody and I work with CLRJ, but I'm also a longtime member of this community, primarily residing in the city of Southgate. And I'm also part of one rapid response group and a few mutual aid organizations. And I just wanted to say thank you again for supporting tenants, especially in this political climate. There's a common misconception at the moment that no one is being detained anymore, but that's largely because enforcement has become quieter and more strategic. So their tactics have changed, and really with the intention to not alarm or panic communities. But people are still disappearing, even if public perception has shifted. Local rapid response groups have documented this, and in the SELA RRN group, there have been verified reports of, from this year alone, 11 people in the city of Bell Gardens being taken. And this is just, again, the ones that have been reported, as many more go unnoticed. And that's what makes this ultimately really dangerous. And this motion really helps our families. It isn't about tearing down landlords, but more so protecting people whose income isn't tied, or protecting people whose income is really affected by survival. And I also wanted to mention during the implementation of the RSO, there were strong opposition, and of the 60 property owners that signed on to the Donald Jervis letter in opposition to the RSO, 40 of the 60 properties, 43 properties were owned um, by corporations, and only five of the 60 were true mom and pop landlords. So overall, it just shows that there's a misconception that mom and pop landlords in Bell Gardens will be primarily affected when we see it's primarily corporate landlords that are organizing. And also just doing housing clinics with the Keep Sela House Coalition. There's so much need that is ongoing, and people do not like sharing their struggles and do try to keep it private. But we see that there is people are coming
30
forward.
seconds left.
And overall, we're not asking for much. We're just asking to continue supporting people who are essentially trying to survive. And thank you so much.
Thank you for your comment. Zoom ID beginning with the name Avery, if you would please select the microphone icon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you. I'm speaking on agenda item 10.5. My name is Avery Cervantes. I'm a member of the community and also an educator. I'm urging the council to vote yes on a non-payment threshold for evictions and protect our community from displacement. Recently, I had a student tell me that she was moving from her home in Bell Gardens to a home in Maywood because it was just becoming untenable to pay for the rent. And I really strongly believe that this policy can help families like hers really not have to go through the stress of moving and have to upheave their entire life. These are young people who are not only being affected by the stress of the raids, but they're being affected by the stress of having to pay or see their parents struggle to pay for the rent. And this policy could really help families with that stress and really alleviate some of that on our young people who live in this community. I appreciate the council for taking this to a second hearing. I really, really hope that our community is first and foremost in the minds of all council members as they have this final vote. So thank you.
Thank you. Zoom ID beginning with the name Veronica, if you would please select the microphone icon.
Sí, buenas tardes, buenas noches, ¿sí me escuchan?
Sí.
Sí, mi nombre es Verónica Sánchez y soy miembro de la comunidad. Y yo estoy aquí para pedirles y les urjo a los miembros del concilio que voten a favor de un umbral de impago de renta para desalojos y así proteger a nuestra comunidad del desplazamiento. Mientras enfrentamos actividades continuas de ICE en nuestra ciudad. Yo estoy pasando una situación de desalojo y no por no pagar mi renta, fue por defender mis derechos, porque no podía dejar que el dueño abusara de nuestra familia. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Las rentas están carísimas, yo tengo que desocupar el día 15 de septiembre, no me quieren en ningún lugar con mis perros, aunque sean perros de servicio. Las rentas están altísimas y mis hijas tienen ahorita mucho estrés, trauma, no se pueden concentrar en la escuela, están viviendo una situación de miedo y el miedo es muy grande y más cuando los dueños no quieren participar en los programas de ayuda para renta. Por eso yo les pido, por favor, les urjo que aprueben esta noche este umbral de renta, de no impago. Yo como madre de familia inmigrante, cada día es un miedo a no regresar a casa. El trabajo está muy mal, recortaron horas, y no somos delincuentes y no estamos así porque no queramos pagar una renta. Simplemente no alcanza. El 50% de nuestro salario o más del 50 se va a la renta, se va a los servicios públicos. Tenemos que comprar despensa. ¿Qué va a pasar? ¿A dónde me voy a ir con mi familia? ¿Abajo de un puente? ¿A vivir en una banqueta? Esto no puede estar pasando. Nadie debería pasar por un desalojo por dificultades económicas o pequeñas cantidades que debemos. Es una obligación moral que Bell Gardens proteja a sus residentes, no importando su estado migratorio. Yo les pido, por favor, que hoy salgamos con eso que queremos escuchar de ustedes. El umbral de impago de renta para desalojos. Y así, por favor, protejan a la comunidad y ayuden, apoyen, y no somos delincuentes. Si estamos así es por las redadas que están ahorita, el miedo de salir a trabajar. Han recortado muchas horas de trabajo. Los niños están estresados, están traumados de ver a los padres cómo luchan día a día por pagar una renta y no ser desalojados. Yo les pido, por favor, apoyen y que
Le
hoy
queda
salgamos con
30
esa respuesta que
segundos.
queremos. Y por favor, apoyemos a la ciudad de Bell Gardens y a todas las ciudades. Muchas gracias por escucharme. Que tengan buenas noches.
Gracias por su comentario. Zoom ID beginning with the name Jazz. If you would please select the microphone icon and proceed with your comment.
Hi, council members. Ms. Jazz. I'm at Sierra Day, East Yard, Caracol Community Self-Defense Coalition, and the Sela community. Side note, I'm not a Bell Gardens resident, but a stakeholder in various capacities. I support Bell Gardens through and through, and actually prefer to support our Sela communities first and foremost than any other community. With that said, thank you for those that supported non-payment threshold. Extremely important. But I'm a little upset. I had a different, if you will, spill. But at this point, this is more so along the lines of addressing the first speaker, calling Rasta irresponsible for quote unquote not paying rent. I don't know if this person understands how much our elders, if at all, get payments via SSI. Does he know that our elders also have chronic conditions? Does he know that medication is very costly? Does he know that all elders have children that support the cause? I'm going to give you an example, right? This is for my dad. My dad, he came from Mexico, immigrant, revalidó sus estudios, as they say. He came to college, did college again here in the United States. Again, became an engineer twice in Mexico and now here. He ended up getting cancer. Thankfully, he has us. He had to stop working. Yes, he got a home. But guess what? Had he not had kids, he wouldn't have been able to afford that home moving forward, right? So I'm just putting things in perspective that we all don't all fall in a basket that looks just the same. We are very hardworking peoples. My parents are very hardworking people. They don't let up. We try our best. Trust me. I'm a first generation kid. So just in addressing that, please be respectful of our elders first and foremost. And how dare you? You need to sit down and respect our elders because that's the reason why you're here even speaking. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Oops. Zoom ID beginning with the name Edwin. If you would please select the microphone icon and proceed with your comment. Zoom ID beginning with the name Edwin. You can select the microphone icon from your device. You did that successfully. Now you may proceed with your comment. Zoom ID beginning with the name Edwin. You can select the microphone icon Select it just once, and then you may proceed with your comment. Okay, we can hear you. You can proceed with your comment. It looks like you muted yourself again. Well, Mayor and members of the council, it looks like he muted himself and is not able to provide a comment. And that was the last virtual participant.
City Clerk, it seems like
Oh.
Edwin unmuted himself, but yet we still cannot hear him on our end, I believe.
Edwin, I think if you may have a device that you have to actually also unmute. It may not just be selecting the microphone icon. It's also a device that you can mute.
Look.
Oh, I could hear you now. You may proceed with your comment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you.
Daisy, okay, well, hello once again. I just wanted to share my thoughts on what took place exactly 2 weeks ago. The main focus on that night, as you recall, was the item dealing with the non-payment rent threshold. Can you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you. You could proceed with your comment.
I'm just gonna this.
Edwin, can you hear us? We can hear you.
Mr. Gonzalez, it seems like we still cannot hear you, but if you wish, you may email us some information regarding your comment. City Clerk, is there any other public comment?
That was the last virtual participant.
Thank you so much. If there's no objection by the members of the City Council, I will now close public participation. And up next, we'll move forward with committee updates. Does any member of the council have an update regarding committees? And if not, we'll go ahead and proceed with consent calendar. Oh, pardon, City Manager's report. City Manager, please provide us a report.
Thank you, Mayor De La Rosa and members of the City Council, city staff, and members of the community. I would like just to thank, first off, our city staff for their continued hard work and dedication to service to the community. I would also like to provide you a quick overview of today's events, events during the week, and the rest of the month. So, construction is still continuing on Eastern and Gage Avenue intersection improvements project, which are scheduled to be completed by September 4th. We appreciate everybody's patience and during this important street improvements that will definitely help the traffic flow along Eastern and Garfield. August 12th and August 19th, a celebration of National Golf Month. City of Bell Gardens golf course will host foot golf, a fun and unique combination of soccer and golf, as we discussed earlier. The event will be from 6 p.m. to 7:30 on those 2 dates. August 14th, Residents Art and Yard Sale Friday event will be held on Veterans Park at 10 a.m. August 15th, this weekend, the city will host yard sales weekend. Residents throughout all residential zones are welcome to have a yard sale with no permit required. No commercial zone areas are allowed to have yard sales, but the yard sales are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on those 2 days. August 21st, join us at Veterans Park for free farmers market from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Residents encouraged to bring their own reusable bags. August 22nd, the city will host a pet vaccination clinic at Veterans Park. Please bring your pets and take advantage of this free service that provided by the city. On part of our consent items that we have, I just want to highlight a few. 10.5, second reading on adoption of tenant eviction protection ordinance. 10.6, resolution approving professional service agreement with 4 planning firms to provide as-needed planning services. 10.7, a resolution approving professional service agreement with 4 code enforcement and planning firms to provide as-needed professional services. And 10.8, a resolution approving professional service agreement with HDL companies for business license administration, business license discovery, compliance, audit, and administrative and collection, TOT administration, and cannabis business tax administration services. This agreement represents an important step towards strengthening and authorizing the city's, modernizing the city's business license program. That concludes my report.
Thank you, City Manager, for the report. We will now proceed with the consent calendar. Does any member of the council wish to pull an item for separate discussion? And if not, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
Second by Councilmember Bárcena. City Clerk, will you please conduct a roll call vote?
Yes, thank you. Members of the council and successor agency, Bárcena.
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guillen.
Yes, with the exception of 10.5.
And your vote for 10.5?
No.
Thank you. And Mayor de la Rosa.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
This time, we will go on a 15-minute recess before we proceed to the next item.
Mayor and members of the council, the meeting is now being live streamed.
Thank you, City Clerk. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item number 11.1?
Thank you, Mayor De La Rosa. Item 11.1 is local commission vacancies.
Thank you. Does any member of the council wish to make any changes to their commissions?
Yes, I do. If I understand correctly, I have two vacancies. One on the Planning Commission, so I'd like to appoint Stephanie Ramos. And can I do this as a motion, two at the same time? Okay, and then the other one would be for the Recreation, the Recreation Commission, which will be Javier Garay.
I'll second.
Okay.
City Clerk, will you please conduct a roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Councilmember Barcena,
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez,
Aye.
Councilwoman Sanchez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guillen,
Yes.
and Mayor De La Rosa.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item number 11.2?
Item 11.2, discussion regarding residential street sweeping update. And for that, Director of Public Works, Bernie Inigas, will provide you a quick presentation on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. I'll go ahead and start with a background on this item. Street sweeping acts as a tool to prevent stormwater pollution. We operate under a stormwater permit that is known as the MPDES permit, and this permit requires agencies such as Bell Gardens to implement routine maintenance programs to reduce pollutant loads. This includes street sweeping. Street sweeping in residential areas follows trash collection, and this is done to ensure that any debris from the trash collection operations is swept up by the street sweeper. Parked cars and vehicles following too closely behind the sweeper do impact the sweeper's ability to access the debris by the curb, and it also infringes upon Public Works directing the sweeper to re-sweep certain areas that were deficient or missed. Additionally, parking obstructions delay sweeping operations, and the sweeper is unable to sweep some of these areas within the posted timeframes. To ensure that we comply with the stormwater regulations, on June 22nd, the City Council approved modifications to the street sweeping parking restriction hours, and this was done to allow the sweeper sufficient time to properly sweep the streets. The changes to the street sweeping parking restriction hours are as follows. So for Tuesday, north of Gage Avenue, the new hours are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., while south of Gage Avenue, the hours remain at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. In the image here, the areas shown in red remain the same. In other words, from 8 to 12, and the areas shown in blue were modified to 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. In the Tuesday area, a total of 55 signs were modified. For the Wednesday area, north of Clara Street, the new hours are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., while south of Clara Street, the hours remain the same from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. In this area, a total of 30 signs were modified. For the Thursday area, north of Loveland Street, the new hours became 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., while south of Loveland Street, the hours remained the same from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. In this area, a total of 63 signs were modified. In order to implement these new sweeping hours, during the week of July 20th, the city published street sweeping changes on our social media platforms, and we also utilized our BG Connect app. In all, a total of 148 street sweeping signs were modified in preparation for the new hours, and the image to the right here shows our social media post. Also, on July 28th, Nationwide, which is our contract sweeping provider, began sweeping based on the new hours. In order to allow residents and businesses to adapt to the new sweeping hours, warning notices are going to be given out instead of parking citations, and this will be done for a 10-week period beginning as of July 28th and continuing through October 4th. And to the right here, we see the notice that is being handed out by our parking enforcement. Also, the city will be mailing a brochure to all addresses within the city during this week, and we're gonna be doing it again during the week of September 28th. So there will be 2 mailings in total, and the purpose will be again to inform our community about the new street sweeping hours, and also to inform our community that effective as of October 5th, we will resume our parking enforcement. So to the right, we illustrate the brochure that will be going out. So this is the cover page. This will be 11 by 17, so it'll be larger than a standard format. And the back of the brochure will show the map for each day from Tuesday through Thursday. Now, there are a couple alternatives that the city could explore in the future. One alternative would be same-day extended schedule. So under this alternative, the schedule for street sweeping will be on one side in the morning and then the opposite side later in the afternoon, but during the same day. So with this alternative, this would follow the trash pickup schedule. In other words, we're not going to impact trash collection. This would complete street sweeping on that same day. It would impact residents for a longer period of time, with the sweeper having to come back later in the day as opposed to relatively short. This may require a contract amendment with Nationwide, our sweeping operator, with potential added costs. This may shorten the schedule for both morning and afternoon. So in other words, instead of a 4-hour block, this could be reduced potentially to a 3-hour block. Street sweeping signs would again have to be modified, and this alternative would maximize compliance with the stormwater permit. A second alternative could be sweeping each side of the street on different days. So under this alternative, we would sweep one side, for example, on a Monday, and then the other side on a Tuesday. Since there are 3 street sweeping zones, converting to this alternative may require street sweeping in the morning and afternoon over the course of 3 days. So in other words, extended. This may require a contract amendment again with Nationwide and potential added street sweeping costs. This may disrupt the trash collection schedule since there will be trash cans on one side of the street while sweeping is taking place on the other. And this may also require a contract amendment with our residential waste hauler, Athens, for changes to their routing schedules, which can also present itself with added costs. This alternative may also shorten the schedule, again, from a 4-hour block to potentially 3-hour blocks on each side. Sweeping signs would again have to be modified. This may reduce the efficiency, however, of our street sweeping debris collection, since there can potentially be trash cans out in the street and in the way. And with wind erosion, it may blow trash from one side that is swept to another. Thereby, this may also hinder compliance with our stormwater compliance. In conclusion, the current street sweeping parking restriction hours were modified on June 22nd to maximize our compliance with stormwater. Changing the street sweeping hours to other alternatives may again result in additional costs or in reduced efficiency in our street sweeping operations. Therefore, staff would recommend receiving and filing the report with no changes from the current trash and street sweeping operations, as they maintain our current operations and our costs. So with that, it is staff's recommendation that the City Council receive and file the report or provide direction to staff regarding residential street sweeping alternatives. That concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for the thorough presentation. As opposed to the other 2 alternatives, the current solution that's underway, does it have any financial impact in terms of signage updates and any other possible additional financial costs?
As of the adoption of the resolution that modified the hours, there was no added fiscal impact because Nationwide agreed to take on the cost to modify all the street sweeping signs. So this was accomplished by placing a decal in all the signs that needed to be modified. Also, Nationwide agreed to modify their schedule at no additional cost to the city.
Thank you so much. And with in regards to the citations that were issued, before the notices that went out on July 28th, what can a resident do in regards to that?
We have been informing any of our residents that may have received a citation to contact the police department. They would have to fill out a form to appeal, but based on the chief's direction, those citations would be voided. So there were 4 known individuals that they received a citation. I spoke with 2 of them, and I believe the chief had his staff speak to the rest to come and handle those citations.
Thank you so much. And from my understanding, from this point on until the October 5th date, only warnings will be issued, correct?
That is correct, Mayor, and this would be a 10-week period, and it's gonna allow our community to adapt to the new changes. Again, we cannot promise when the sweeper is gonna pass in front of their property due to various reasons, whether it's a breakdown, whether it's the sweeper having to place more water on the tanks, or dump their debris loads, because in the fall it does get heavy with leaves. We never guarantee a time, but nevertheless, with 10 weeks of their new schedule, this should help our community adapt.
And it did come to our attention that one of the concerns is that the street sweeper struggles to do a second run around the block, right? And I was wondering if it would be possible to add a section onto the notice that's going to be issued out to have our residents be, give the street sweepers some extra time before people start parking again, right? I know parking is a scarcity, but with the current regulations we have to adhere to, I think it's crucial that the street sweeper does do that second lap if necessary. And I was just curious if it'd be possible to include that in the notice. That way we can also address that simultaneously.
Definitely, we could modify the warnings that are being issued by our parking enforcement. In regard to the mailers, the first one is already going out this week, but we can definitely modify it for the second one and add that verbiage as part of that brochure.
Thank you so much. And that concludes my questions. I'll open it up to my colleagues.
So I know when it was first posted on social media, the maps were really difficult to read. Even enlarging them, you couldn't even see. And so I know that you mentioned there's going to be like these booklets being sent out to all the residents. And then you said they're what size, 11 by what?
There'll be 11 by 17, and we did request a higher resolution from Nationwide. So those proofs should have more legible streets within those maps.
Is there also a way to, because, looking at the social media right now, we have a bunch of texts. We have the 2 pictures per slide of the maps. Is there a way on social media to enlarge the maps and do 1 slide per map so that we're able to read it? Because right now, the way that it's posted, it is difficult to read. So I know the frustration of a lot of residents were like, okay, some people that do have social media are able to read this, but it's not legible. I'm not understanding like what this is saying. And then 2, we have a lot of elderlies that are not on social media. So I thank the city for giving a grace period of all the way until October for warnings. But I think in order for it to function, we need to do a better job of being able to read what streets are going to be impacted, please.
Definitely. In regard to our social media posts, we can work with the city manager's office to make those modifications.
Last question. I know we talked about streets. Do alleys ever get cleaned by the street sweeper? Because I know that that's a concern that's been brought up by residents as well, that alleys are being neglected.
Yes, they're part of our sweeping because it's part of our stormwater permit requirement that we sweep our alleyways. And that's why alleys are technically all posted no parking, even though from time to time we do have violators. But yes, those are also included.
Would those get done around the same time that the streets around it get done? Is that when the street sweeper is supposed to go by?
Correct. So on the maps that you're gonna see on the brochure, those are the actual turn-by-turn maps from our service provider nationwide. Definitely, we have access to the turn-by-turns for the alleyways as well.
To echo that last question from my colleague, there have been reports of bulky items on alleys, and when that occurs, what would be the best approach to address the issue, but also not have it impede the street sweeping process?
Yes, what we can do is, obviously, I have sweeps of my staff that goes around and services the alleyways. But something else that I can do, which I've done before, is require the sweeper to give me a report about obstructions. Therefore, that will let me know that there's a bulky item on the way. Unfortunately, we won't get it for that week, but by the next week, that area should be free and clear once they submit that obstruction report to me. So that's definitely something I can ask of Nationwide.
Thank you so much. And any other questions, comments from my colleagues?
Yes, so just for clarification and understanding, I know we're going through the grace period right now. However, once that grace period ends, when it says, for example, from 10 to 2, you know how we see a lot of people doing like the round around the, that 10 to 2 is to not be parked there at all, right?
Technically, that is correct. It's a posted parking restriction for that full length of time.
Okay, so once that grace period ends, residents can receive citations.
That is correct. If we ever have to order the sweeper to resweep due to deficiencies, so for example, as I mentioned, when the equipment breaks down, that will allow us to clean, because if we don't, then the city itself can be in violation of the stormwater permit, and that carries violation or fines up to $10,000 per day that we are not in compliance.
Okay, thank you. It was just for clarification.
If there are no more questions or comments, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. City Clerk, will you please conduct a roll call?
Thank you. Members of the council, Marcena?
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez?
Aye.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guillen? And Mayor de la Rosa?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Lastly, we have our City Council member comments. We'll go ahead and proceed as it's listed.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to thank staff for all their work and also my colleagues for a good meeting, and have a good night.
Really quick for my comments, thank you once again to the public who came out, and then also to our staff, to our city manager, Acosta, legal counsel as always. I had a quick question in regards to the Eastern and Garfield project, the Y to become a T. It's a path that I consistently travel through. I remember maybe last week or so, we didn't have lights for about a good almost like 5 days or 3-4 days. It was like a weekend that it was pretty much shut down, and I saw we had some stops and stuff. Are there, how's that project coming along? I know I see that, you know, it seems like we got rid of some trees already, or something's gonna happen with the trees, but I'm curious to see about those trees and how do we remove a tree, or are we gonna plant a new tree and all that?
Yes, through the mayor, the blackout that was observed was due to the contractor hitting an unmarked Edison line. So when we undertake a project, we're required to do a dig alert, and the utilities are supposed to mark all their infrastructure. This was a line that was not identified by Edison, therefore the contractor didn't know it was there. So technically it was on the utility Edison, but Edison went out there. It did take a little while because a new pedestal was required. They brought it back online, and as of, I believe, this morning, the signals are fully functional. In regard to the trees that are being taken out, we are going to make modifications to the median. So there's going to be new planting that's going to be involved. So we're going to strive to replace in kind and actually add more green to the intersection there that's being constructed.
Yeah, I mentioned the trees specifically because and those are some, these trees along Garfield are really unique and they're huge tall trees and, at least I like how they look. And they're a nice amenity for the community and green space and all that. I wanted to perhaps make a request as far as like the center medians, and I've already seen some of the greenery that's being put forward and the new planters and plantings, and I'd like to see, what do you call the flower of California, the little orange one? The what? They're called poppies? The little orange ones, like the California flower. California poppies, yes. I've seen them across the freeways, and some folks are just kind of like, as they're driving, they'll throw some seeds, and they hope that it grows into, into seeing this. So I'd like to see some California poppies in here and across maybe our center medians, if possible. I don't know if we have some, but I've seen some really, really nice ones along on Eastern between Priory and Live Oak. It's really, I think they're nice. But anyways. So do we have a timeline for when that project is going to be complete, the Eastern and Garfield?
Yeah, we're looking at about 3 months time to get it going. The contractor had already procured the traffic signal equipment, which is the longest lead. That takes about 6 months, so that was procured a few months ago. So we're making good progress.
Yeah, I see that our equipment's already in the church, and we've already taken out the monument. Is that monument going to come back?
Yes, that was property that was acquired by the city in order to give us the additional right-of-way.
Got it. Okay, so it seems like maybe by the end of this year, we'll have it set up and running.
Yes, correct.
Okay, the final thing I want to request, or more so ask, is to our recreation programming. I've been seeing a lot of the programming that's coming out of our recreation department, really, really great. I especially want to thank our director and all her team for the incredible work that they've done in bringing back more sewing classes for the community. I know that was something of a big topic with the folks that partake in sewing and want to learn that skill. One of the things that I was noticing is I think most, if not all, the classes tend to be between like 9 to 12 in the morning. And I don't know if there was any availability towards the evening, because I think that was something where a lot of folks were, hey, I'm off work at 4 or 5, and it's just difficult for me to, be able to go during the middle of the day. So I don't know if we can possibly try to see if we can add a class in the nighttime, considering there's a really high demand for that program. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Councilmember Chavez. Yes, staff, we're aware of, we just did a social media post and got some really good feedback from that. So we're in conversations with the current instructor and are coming up with a game plan to see how we can add classes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just want to highlight again that it is golf month. We do have a golf course here in Bell Gardens. Thank you to the Latina golfers, Cops and Birdies, and Raza Golf, who have all participated in different types of tournaments or golf clinics within our golf course. And thank you to all the staff and my colleagues for all the wonderful work.
Thank you and have a good night.
I want to thank my colleagues, city staff, the legal team, city manager for all the great work and cohesion. Thank you so much. And if there's no objection by the members of the City Council, I will now adjourn the City Council Successor Agency Joint Meeting at 8:25 p.m. Thank you.